pull that table to me.
That the same as live?
Yeah, that's fine.
The same, yes. Evening, everyone. Welcome to our September 11th, 2024 Planning Board meeting. Before we stand and do the pledge, I'd just like to have a moment or two silence for the events that occurred 23 years ago. I'm sure everyone here remembers where they were and what happened, but a little bit moment of silence for all those that lost their lives, the ones that are still suffering from the illnesses caused by that day, working down on the site, relatives of people that were lost, et cetera, et cetera. At least we never forget. I don't think we ever will. Thank you. Let's stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Steve?
Chairman John Curry.
Here.
Vicky Gannon.
Here.
Jack Mattis.
Here.
Bruce Prince.
He's on.
He's
By Zoom.
Zoom, yes.
Anthony Sutton.
Here.
Christopher Zaberto.
Here.
Thank you. First on our agenda is the draft minutes from the August 14th meeting. Any corrections, changes?
I just have a couple of spelling errors.
Please.
Okay. Make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. First on our agenda is 24 Ross Drive. It's a steep slope protection and stormwater management erosion sediment control application on the tab map 10-2-66. The applicant's is proposing to reconstruct the existing house with new septic, provide plantings and additional stormwater controls along an existing slope. And for the record, the property is in an R10 zoning district. Evening.
Good evening. So no real major changes since our last submittal. Steve's office provided a memo a couple months ago. And we've addressed his comments. The majority of the comments were really just grading a couple of clarification items for the stormwater collection system, some pre-treatment for the proposed Coltech for the roof leaders, and just updating the limits of disturbance. And in addition to filing the draft notice of intent for DEC for disturbance over 5,000 square feet. And I have that there, Steve. Yes, this is our latest greatest plan.
Dave and Steve.
Comments.
Yep, as Mr. Chung stated, our office and his have been in contact as recently as today. I understand that they've made some minor revisions to the site plan just for completeness and to address our comments. We reviewed them over the phone and by video today. The applicant has not made kind of a final submittal with those, but they look to be in order and to have addressed our comments. Our biggest concern on the site obviously is the management of stormwater. On the bottom part of the plan is the west side of the property. And a couple of years ago, there was some flooding that occurred to downhill properties with runoff coming across this property in its state at that time. At that time, the property was disturbed. There had been some fill placed. It was also a time at which there was some repaving on Ross Drive, and I think that combination of factors led to some run on from the road onto the property, and the property being in an unstabilized condition at that time resulted in the runoff down to the south and east of the property. Since that time, I think as Mr. Chung stated at the last planning board meeting. We have had several large storms. There has been no reported issues. There are erosion and sediment controls on the site right now, and the site is stabilized right now with vegetation. The plan that Mr. Chung shows does address the stormwater on the property. The run-on from Ross Drive is addressed through a curb that was placed across the driveway entrance by the highway department. We had some discussion today about the grading on the driveway and making sure that that curb is sufficiently mountable by a vehicle. Mr. Sutton, you raised that question at our last meeting, and we reviewed that in the field. That curb is, it could be softened a little bit, although the height is appropriate. And I would have no issue if the applicant or the highway department were to reshape that slightly, maintaining the height that it has. And I think that's doable. But the applicant has provided a development plan that meets code for stormwater, and is more appropriate for the site than the prior proposal in terms of the amount of disturbance that would be required. And it meets the code for handling the stormwater on the site.
This is a public hearing, so if there's anyone that wishes to speak, please come forward. Board member comments, questions?
So just to confirm, the memo that we received from your office was September 9th.
Correct.
So conversations since then have resolved the few not addressed issues like 23A, 23E, 24, which was a partial. They're all now resolved. Satisfaction?
For our verbal discussion today and review of, a shared screen.
Pending final
Pending
submission.
submission. So I think
Okay.
it would be, if the board so chooses, a conditional resolution pending that final submittal, and addressing our outstanding comments.
Okay,
Is the board comfortable if we close the public hearing?
yes.
Last time there's no one from the public who wants to speak. I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Thank you. The board feel comfortable asking, directing staff to prepare a conditional resolution?
Yes.
I mean, I feel comfortable because it's obviously your stamp going on this, so, yeah,
Mr. Chung stamp going.
yes, too, but,
Fine.
but you guys too, yeah,
Yes.
okay. Make a motion that we ask staff to prepare a conditional resolution.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Another public hearing is for 24 Orchard Hill Road. It's for a wetland and watercourse application, town map 37.10-1-13.
Mr. Chairman, the planning, the legal notice was posted in the joint news on Thursday.
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask that. Thank you.
Thursday, August 29th, 2024. The adjoining property owners were notified via mail on Thursday, August 29th, 2020.
Thank you. And I don't mean to interrupt you for 1 second. I'm in remiss. I'm sorry. I have not acknowledged you and our new attorney. I'm sorry. Please introduce him.
Thank you. Yes. Good evening. I'm Mary Desmond from Fensterman. I work with Roland Roney and the town council. This is my colleague, Michael Tomey, and he will be your new counsel for the planning board going forward. We met with Roland and determined that he's probably the best fit and he's going to do an excellent job. And
Happy to be here.
Welcome. Welcome.
welcome. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I should have acknowledged you earlier.
Now it's fun.
We have a habit of chasing attorneys out of here. No, continue, please.
wanted to stay.
Come back and visit anytime.
You say that now.
You dodged a bullet.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Claire Harris. I'm representing SI Design Architects on behalf of 24 Orchard Hill Road. This project entails an addition of 355 square feet to an existing accessory structure. The addition includes a home office or TV room. A portion of the addition, approximately 80 square feet, falls within the 100-foot wetlands buffer. It falls approximately 91 feet away from the existing watercourse. You can see the close-up of that area on the left side. We were here the last meeting and we've incorporated comments from the board to include a rain garden. The rain garden will be approximately 10 feet by 10 feet and will consist of plants which help retain rainwater. The new roof will align with the existing roof and the materials will match those of the existing addition. The total square footage of the accessory structure with the addition is 12,984, which complies with the maximum permitted of 13,000 from a previous resolution.
Thank you. Dave and Steve?
The addition of the rain garden addressed our outstanding comment.
Okay. Board members? No? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here from the public wishes to speak on 24 Orchard Hill Road? Yes, please come forward. Just state your name.
My name is Lisa Milikai, 14 Orchard Hill Road. I just have a few questions. Which dwelling is this addition being added to? This is multiple dwellings on the property.
Can we have the applicant answer that? Don't mind.
There's a tennis structure, so it's being added to back of that.
Is this the second dwelling as you're pulling in?
I believe so. Let me see what's on the. It's the first one.
Can I see that? It's the main house?
No,
No.
this is the main house. This is the, it's like a big.
Indoor tennis structure?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess the other question I had is, I know that this property sold its building rights some years ago, and I mean, is this something that is allowed with selling your building rights, adding on additions to the existing dwellings?
That sounds like a legal question.
What do you interpret selling building to mean? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, the land becomes preserved, and then the existing dwellings can't be built upon or expanded on. That's my interpretation. It depends on what the contract was when they sold, but that's typically what it means.
It's my understanding that there is a conservation easement on this piece of land, but the conservation easement doesn't cover these two structures. It's for additional acreage on this very large piece of land. So it wouldn't restrict any extension, 300 extension to the main tennis building.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comments? Did I answer your questions? Okay, yes. In the future, just ask everyone to speak into the mic a little better. Any other board member questions or comments? You feel comfortable closing the public hearing?
Yes.
Motion.
Is there-
Close the public
Is there a
hearing.
second?
Yes.
All in favor?
I,
Thank you. And how about the draft resolution that we have before us? Okay. Okay, the right one. There's this 2409. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
10 is Lawton.
Yes, 10 is Lawton, right? Okay. We have a resolution in front of us. Resolution 2024-09, granting conditional approval for wetland and watercourse protection permit. Sid Schollerman, architect, applicant, and Natalie Rodriguez, who is the owner. Town map 37.10-1-13.1. Is there a second resolution?
I'll second it, adopt this.
All in favor? Or is there anybody, do you have any
No,
comments on the resolution?
no, it
Okay,
made perfect sense to me. No comments. or-
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So our agenda is New York City Department of Protection, Forest Management Work, Wetland and Watercourse Protection Tree Removal Application. It's on town map 28.14-25-1.
And
And-
Chairman, the legal notice was published in the Journal News on Thursday, August 29th,
Okay,
and the adjoining property owners were notified via mail on Thursday, August 29th.
thank you. It's for a wetland and watercourse protection permit and a tree removal permit for work that will involve silviculture, forest thinning, tree planting, and invasive plant control by mechanical and chemical means. The project is linear along New York 100 corridor from Pines Ridge to Muscoot Farm County Park, approximately 3.5 miles. Evening.
Good evening. Bart Caterino from the New York City Department of Environmental Protection, watershed forester. I was here last meeting and yeah, project to thin the forest to improve the growth of the existing best trees on the sites, remove invasive species by chemical and mechanical means to enhance the growth of the forest and try to get some young trees to grow better on the sites and enhance the green corridor along Route 100 and the New Curtain Reservoir, and as well as plant over 4,500 trees in the project area.
Any staff comments?
DEP did submit a response to the comment memo that we prepared previously. They have addressed substantially all of our comments. I think the one comment that we have for the board really is around the approval mechanism for the chemical controls that are being used. There are 2 chemicals that are written into the plan, and it says if others will be used, they need approval by DEP before being used. And is that sufficient for the board? I just bring that up for your discussion.
This is a public hearing, so is there anyone that would like to speak on this matter? Board members, questions,
You have it
concerns, comments?
in the audience.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That map.
I do.
Exactly what area we're talking about.
Got that map.
And also timing wise, can you want to use this one? Plan.
Is that
It's a zoning map.
the town map?
When in doubt, now.
I can figure it out. I need this microphone.
Probably, yes, please. Yeah.
Swing. There you go.
All right. Yeah, okay.
That's-
So let's see. Amawalk. Where's New Curtain Reservoir here?
It should be the very bottom right. That's our border, right? Yorktown. So to the south
Yeah.
and to the west,
This is 100, yeah, this is,
right there.
this is.
Oh, we're 35. Got it. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah. We're gonna be from about the Yorktown border up through Muscoot Farm County Park here. So this stretch along Route 100. And only the DEP owned land, which is outlined with this gray outline here, are the DEP parcels right along Route 100. And then there are some peninsula reservoir that we will also be working. Oh yeah, timing. We're looking to start. Let me.
Bruce has a.
Okay. Go ahead. We'll get to Lucy. Go ahead.
Okay.
Finish.
Yeah. We're hoping to start as soon as our permits are approved. So we'd like to do some mechanical vegetation control work in the winter. And that way we could come through next spring and address that stuff chemically. And what that does is really let us use less chemical products. It's because we can cut things down first and then we can treat the smaller resprouts. And then tree cutting work could really occur any time of year because we want to do our invasive species control before we fell the trees because it'll just be easier to work in the site. Yeah, really timing is, I mean, the project is an all year round type of project. with different stages and different operations.
Well, you're obviously not going to be able to treat the invasive species till they're actively growing.
Right, that's it. But you know, we can chop them down in the winter and then treat their resprouts.
So in order to answer the question we had, maybe could you provide by an end date, what would be your preferred end date by which time you would
Sure,
this?
sure.
Is that something you could address?
Yeah, a preferred end date would be probably the June of 2026 at this point. I mean, the longer we wait for permits, the further the end date goes out.
But
So,
just
yeah.
in order that we can best attempt to address the question. Okay, thank you.
So about 18
Sure.
months.
Excuse me?
About 18 months.
Yeah, I think so.
If the board doesn't mind, I'd just like to add something. My name is Amanda Locke and I'm the regional forester for this region for New York City DEP. So I work with Bart. And yes, so there's obviously the invasive species portion and the tree cutting portion that Bart was talking about, and then followed up by the planting. So the planting is the timing piece that ends up being time constrained. So we have to plant obviously either during the spring or the fall. And so that's why we may be delayed until, as Bart was saying, until the spring of 2026. We're certainly hopeful that this project will be done in 2025. But we obviously are not going to plant outside of an appropriate planting window. And then the contract does have maintenance of those plantings that continues after the fact. So, so despite the work being complete, we will have maintenance ongoing that will continue for a period of 2 years in this contract.
2 years, but I
Yep.
mean, that's minimal work. That's replanting plants or
That die.
or fixing. That would be, the maintenance would be replanting plants that die or fixing the deer exclusion fences.
And watering, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
And watering,
Only in the first year.
Yeah.
the
Water,
contractor is only responsible for 1 year?
yeah, watering for establishment, and then typically these are planted potted trees. They're not little seedlings, so typically they root within the first year, and then they're fine.
Can you
So the-
talk a little bit about?
I just want to make sure. Does that answer your questions? You have any more?
I have one more question.
Sure. Can you just come up to the mic,
forward.
say your name,
State
please?
your name and where you live.
Yep.
Jens Andersen, live on 11 Logging Road. In terms of invasive species, what constitute, like, in terms of trees, what constitute invasive species?
Yeah, invasive trees would be Norway maple, tree of heaven, and those are the major ones on this site. And amber cork tree, but on that side of the highway, I don't believe we have any.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's approximate percentage of the existing forest do you expect to cut down?
Oh, a very small percentage. So, it's going to be, we're looking about 6. So the average trees per acre in this forested area is about 98 trees per acre. So, we're looking at taking about 6 trees that are, you know, this diameter. Yeah.
So you're not clear cutting.
We're definitely not clear cutting. There's going to be it. You'll barely know it.
Right.
It happened really.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
John,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Bruce, go ahead.
didn't we bring up last meeting something about tree permits? Has that been covered, or am I mistaken?
Yes, I'm gonna let Dave address that for you.
Yeah, so Bruce, Steve Wolfel, who's the town engineer, will be coordinating that tree permit issue with the town board.
Okay, fine. I just wanted to see if it was addressed.
Yes.
It's been addressed. Yes, thank you.
Any other board member comments or questions?
I have a few.
Yep, go ahead.
So there's numerous areas along Route 100 and the area that this project is going to take place.
Yes.
What are you going to be doing for staging of equipment and impeding the traffic on particularly on the water side of the road?
Right. So none of our work is all going to occur on our land. So we're not going to have operations that impede the roadway. But we're requiring our contractor to work with the DOT to get any permits that the DOT might require if they do need to, say, take the shoulder, but they definitely won't be taking a lane.
So no bucket trucks or anything like that working from the roadway?
I don't believe so, no. They might, in one or two instances, they might need a bucket truck to, make sure nothing's a hazard.
And in terms of staging equipment for the
Sure.
project?
Yeah, well, we have some pretty large parking areas in that stretch, so we will have them stage their equipment in our parking area.
Okay. And just as a question, I mean, if the tree is not what you're going after, but as I remember from last
Mhm.
meeting, we were talking about controlling the vines and
Yeah, vine.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So is it just cut it and let it die? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's how it works, yeah.
Just to reiterate,
Mhm.
the brush, when you do take trees down and you do clear underbrush, that's going to be either chipped or taken off the site.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think we discussed, within a buffer of the roadway. I mean, we're not going to be chipping stuff on some of those larger areas that are hundreds of feet into the woods. We're not going to be chipping all that brush, but,
Right.
within,
But it's just going to sit there in piles?
yeah, it degrades over time, decomposes, replenishes the soil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it won't be piled. It's going to be spread out, and it's going to be any trees are going to be cut so that they lay flat on the ground. And it won't be piled because it's
Won't be in the, the recreational area where the boats are.
no.
Okay.
Yeah. The boat areas will be clear and accessible for fishing and boating.
I think, yeah, we did discuss that. It would be in areas that are not visible. And I know I had raised the concern with removal of invasive species. Do we have any on the site that have to be physically removed so that they don't somehow replant themselves?
Mhm.
And in your estimation of what was there, we didn't have anything that was outstanding as that type of issue. So I think we had at the last meeting come to the understanding that this would be the arrangement.
And where are you with the New York State DEC approving your herbicidal permit?
It's a wetlands permit through them. So, we sent them a check.
Okay.
So
So-
I haven't checked up in with them, but they sent us an invoice and a check. So
And part of that, and this is just to clarify for some
yeah,
folks that are here, they would review what you're looking to
Yeah.
apply
yeah, they reviewed.
safe for that region.
Yeah, and they reviewed this. I sent them the whole package, pretty much the same package you guys got. And so they looked over that, and then they'll issue us the permit for that. And as far as the specific chemicals, like they're all pre-approved for use in forest situations, per the pesticide laws of New York State. So, and of course, like I said, our applicators are all going to be certified and using the chemicals within the bounds of the label, which is the law.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny with all the controversy over Roundup and you guys are using glyphosate.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
I know Cornell still recommends it, so
yeah.
I personally think it's a great chemical, but I'm just whatever.
When used judiciously in the
I know.
proper manner, it's
Other board member
Okay.
comments? Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak? Are you satisfied with your answer? You get all your questions answered? Okay. Make a motion, we close the public hearing?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Steve, you feel comfortable with us asking staff to prepare a draft resolution? Dave?
Yes, you want to do that? You want to have a confirmatory resolution?
I think
In
so.
other words, given timing, if you have a confirmatory resolution, you approve it tonight, and then we draft the resolution and for your signature. If the board feels comfortable.
How's the board feel?
I'm comfortable.
I'm very comfortable with that.
There's time is important to them, so.
Well, that'll be covered.
I think that's going, that, the permit is going to be covered in it.
Correct.
Correct. Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
make a motion then that we, ask staff to prepare a resolution,
Confirm.
And you're,
affirmatory
and
resolution.
you're approving the application.
Yes, and we are approving the application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Close the hearing?
Oh, I didn't close the hearing. Apologize. Make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
I thought I did.
I thought you did too.
Thought I did
That's fine.
too.
We'll have to go,
We'll close it twice.
have to go to the
to
videotape.
make sure.
You know, wish you wouldn't mess with my brain like that. Next is a project review. Project review for the Hudson Billiards site plan application. The applicant's proposing a change of use for approximately 3,600 square foot storefront within the Somers Commons Shopping Center from retail, which was once upon a child, private recreation food service, which is the proposed Hudson Billiards. The property is located at 80 Route 6 in the Community Shopping Zoning District. Good evening.
Good evening, folks. My name is Christopher Gallo. This is my business partner, Lex Taylor, and we are Hudson Billiards. And as you just mentioned, we are trying to convert a traditional retail space into a private recreation and food service featuring billiards, a high-end cocktail program, as well as a high-end food offering program. Lex is a tailor and mixologist, so the offerings will be slightly elevated, that of a traditional pool hall, meaning just French fries and mozzarella sticks and fried shrimp. We also plan on implementing a youth billiards program to have business during the day hours, in addition to tournament programs from sanctioned leagues all across the country, that being the BCA and the APA. In addition, also catering to the casual crowd on possibly Thursday evenings, Friday evenings, etc.
Do you have any plans you'd like to display on our high-tech?
Sure. You have very high-tech plans here. I didn't bring a board. Oh, we got a.
Oh, yes.
Great. Okay, let me.
John,
Yes,
when they're talking about billiards, does that mean the technical thing of billiards, or is that pool?
pool,
Pool.
pool,
Okay, then why don't they say pool?
because they like the term billiards. It sounds a little richer.
Okay,
I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but am I close?
You were spot on.
So do you want to just run? Yeah, please. Mike is best.
Yeah, I'll just move this over here. So let's see here. This is Once Upon a Child. This is the front door here, parking in front. Sorry, it should probably be this way. But so what we propose here is we have a plan for 8 pool tables. 6 of them are 9-foot like professional tables for, you know, for tournaments and competitions. And then we have 2 7-foot tables, which are used for the APA leagues. We've got the top of the line diamond tables, which are used in the Vegas final competitions that people sort of are really looking to play on. So we have those 2. And then what we have is a proposed build out for an extra bathroom. Right now, there's currently 1 bathroom. Our plan is to add a 2nd bathroom, which is going to take away from some of this office space here. So that'll be converted to the 2nd bathroom. Then there was a storage facility in the back. It's roughly about 250 square feet that we're going to convert into a small commercial kitchen with a 10-foot hood and electrical cooking equipment. We're pretty modest equipment. We're looking to do a convection oven, a 36-inch griddle, and induction burner, and possibly a small deep fryer. So that would be located in this back room right here. And then we propose right in front of this kitchen to have a 13 capacity bar that would offer sort of a high-end sort of cocktail program, and then just, you know, sodas and whatnot. So this would be a build out here. The bar is really, aside from the walls to add the 2nd bathroom, this bar is really the only other thing that we're actually constructing. So we'll be converting, or propose to convert, this backspace into a commercial kitchen, which would really require putting up FRP paneling, redoing the floors with tiles, just to make it food safe. So we're working actively right now with the Department of Health. And we've already have 1 application in, and we're now reviewing the the plans for the plumbing, which is something that we kind of overlooked in the original, is schematics for the plumbing. So we had to get a plumber in there. We've had a couple. So that's what we're currently working on. That's where we are right now, Department of Health. And what else are we proposing here? We're looking at roughly about 35 seats right now. So a seating capacity of around 30 to 40 seats. And there'll be some tables, small tables scattered throughout, as well as some sort of high tops that'll be adjacent to each of the pool tables so that people can sit down, put a drink, put their coats down and like that.
Have you engaged in any permitting with the state liquor authority to do the cocktail end of this?
We have our application in with the New York State Liquor Authority. It was submitted approximately 3 weeks ago. So within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I expect to hear a response with respect to my temporary status.
Got it. Okay.
So you spoke about competitions. Is there going to be seating for the viewers of the competitions, and as the people grab their food, where are they going to be sitting?
Right. So this plan right now includes about 4 tables. It's quite a large space that lives right by the front door that goes all the way to the back. So this space is quite flexible in terms of, we're still looking at some of the different possibilities we could do, including sort of a long bar type of situation that wouldn't serve. It would just be a bar with lots of stools, just be a flexible way to have more seating,
Right.
and not take up too much space. Usually with the tournament style thing, you'd be a single table. That would be the sort of the focus table for the night if there was to be a sort of a tournament. And in that case, we could rearrange some of the seating, but there will be plenty of seats throughout, basically all around the perimeter, as you can see with these circles, that could be kind of rearranged for a particular night.
Dave, is it fair to say this reminds me a little of the yoga studio application? Is that correct?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. So as part of the review memo that we had prepared, the use has been reviewed by the building department, and these are permitted uses within this district. And so, as you had mentioned, just because it's a change of use under the code, it requires a site plan approval. And just like the yoga studio that you reviewed a couple months ago, they're not making any exterior changes to the property. This is an existing facility. It's an existing retail shopping center, so there's abundant parking. Their use isn't exactly timed with some of the other uses, so there should be plenty of parking when this establishment is up and running. In the memo, we indicated that under seeker, this is a type 2 action, so you don't need to have an environmental assessment form. And what we're suggesting is that because of this type of application, similar to the yoga studio, that you waive the site plan requirements and that you would waive the public hearing for this particular application, given the proposed use, and that you, if you're so inclined, that you could approve a confirmatory resolution, just like you did with the last application, so that they're approved, and then we'll draft the resolution and they can move on to the building department to get the building permits and their operation running.
And I assume, Steve, you don't have any comments? No. Board members, what do you feel about the 2 waves, site plan and public hearing?
Well, out of curiosity, have you 2 gentlemen the similar project anywhere else in the area?
We have not. My background is much different. I spent the last 22 years in law enforcement as a New York State court officer. Lex here is an author, and he has 3
A little closer to the mic, sir.
So my partner Lex is an author amongst his many talents. He has 2 published cookbooks and a mixology book that just came out. So we come from different backgrounds, united by our love for pool. So this is a new space for the both of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So who's the better player?
Depends on
the mixology.
Depends on the mixology consumption.
John, are those tables stationary or are they movable?
Oh, those are stationary. Oh, I'm sorry.
The high top tables where people would be.
Are you talking about the high tops or the pool tables?
Pool tables.
The pool tables are stationary.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
A very heavy slate.
Correct.
They got
Tables, the 9-foot tables weigh approximately 800 pounds.
Okay,
How's the board feel with the waiving? Okay?
yeah,
Okay, I'll do it as two motions then. I make a motion that we waive the site plan requirements.
Second,
All in favor?
I,
And I also make a motion that we waive the public hearing
second.
or scheduling a public hearing. All in favor? Aye, thank you.
aye.
And then direct staff to prepare a draft resolution,
A confirmatory resolution.
affirmatory, sorry.
Second,
Second, all in favor?
aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck. I
Site-
think this is a unique, would be a unique addition.
Yeah.
to town. We don't have anything like that.
Currently, the only place that would be considered a proper billiard facility or pool hall would be in White Plains.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's good.
Travel north and go to Jack and Jill, but we're looking to do, and what Jack and Jill is doing it, is the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, got it.
Thank you, folks.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Excited,
Luck.
luck.
Good luck.
Jack and Jill Pool Hall still open?
Next on our agenda is Kennedy Catholic Prep School Fieldhouse application for site plan approval. The applicant is preparing a new 3,150 square foot field house adjacent to a sports field for exercise equipment to support the existing student population located in the center of the property in the southeast corner of the main athletic field. For the record, the property is located at 554 Route 138, and it's in an R120 zone. Good evening.
Good evening, Paul Chacko, principal from PC Studio Architects. As you just addressed, we have proposing a new 3,150 square foot athletic center to supplement the physical education at Kennedy Catholic. It's entirely for the existing student population. We're not looking to go outside or increase the population, but this is to serve their. They currently have a rather small weight room inside the existing building. And as their population has grown to, for educational purposes, they're finding themselves crunched for space. This would be adjacent at the southeast corner of that athletic field, right smack really in the center of the property. I mean, I don't think we can get any further right in the middle. We had some back and forth. This is Steve Robbins with our civil engineer, Sharka Leff, worked out a stormwater pollution prevention plan. Using stormwater infiltrators. We did our perk tests. Perk test came out quite well. We've received some supplemental comments this week that Sharka will address. And we've also received some minor comments from the Bureau of Fire Prevention that we will address. But outside of that, it's a small building. It's there for the student use only and for the existing student population. We would serve the sanitary from the existing sanitary manhole that's to the northeast of the building. And like I said, stormwater is being served by stormwater infiltrators. But it's a relatively simple project, self-contained toilet rooms, weight room, nothing fancy.
Thank you. Dave and Steve?
Yeah, my only question is, I know the Bureau of Fire Prevention has provided some comments to the planning board relative to access.
Yes.
So do you have any preliminary response to how you're going to address that?
There's an access road currently. We have to expand the survey that was done by Link Land Surveyors. There's an access road that actually runs to the east of the building up to what is the house at the south side of the property. We're about 70 feet off of that access road. So we would have a spur come off of reinforced turf that we would use for that.
Is that the same access road that's been there for many years we would have seen on the previous site walk? There was a long access road that ran kind of toward the St. Joseph's property. When St. Joseph's was built, I remember seeing a road and going past that.
Yeah, that is that.
That's the same structure.
Yep, that comes off
Okay.
the existing high school parking lot and runs up the hill, up the property. Yeah, it's the same access road.
And this road that you're referencing is off of that goes up to the White House.
Correct.
And is there parking on this site for it or?
Existing parking is right adjacent to the.
Right, okay.
And that's where they currently park.
What is your current student enrollment count?
620.
Father Valancourt. the
Right,
president.
Father Valancourt, Kennedy Catholic.
6:20. Thank you.
What's the makeup of the access road you're putting in?
The access road, we propose it to be reinforced turf. We've done that at other school projects, which is a surface that trucks, fire trucks and such can run on, but it still is a pervious surface, so it allows rainwater to penetrate through it. And, you know, we're trying to minimize any site runoff on this.
Thank you.
Dave, if you don't have more comments, I'll turn it over to Steve.
Yes. Yep. This is not a large project, but it does add some impervious area, and the disturbance is more than 5,000 square feet, which trips the town's stormwater plan requirements. So we appreciate the efforts that the applicant has made to add some additional stormwater measures to the plans, and we look forward to working with their engineer and making sure that our comments get addressed. As of this time, we have not received a resubmittal, obviously, to our recent memo to confirm that those will be addressed as part of the project.
Board member comments, questions? Want to schedule a site walk?
That would be good. My memory is from a long time ago because the construction of St. Joseph's also involved the rejiggering of the baseball fields, I think, which is why looked at the two properties together. You had to mentally separate them and also think of them in the same way. So I think it would be beneficial for everybody to
Yeah,
take a look at that segment of JFK
we
property.
should definitely do that.
If it would be helpful, we'll stake out the corners of the building if you.
That'd be perfect.
Very helpful.
Great.
Perfect.
Saturday,
Early.
early
Early Saturday.
So, well, that's always it.
That's early.
8 o'clock, 8:30.
You know, 8 o'clock's fine.
Yeah.
I have a commitment on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
We'll handle it on behalf of our office. He'll stake out.
8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Bruce, are you back then, Bruce?
No, I'm not getting up at 8 o'clock. No, I'm not. I'm still in California. And I have problems getting up at 8 o'clock.
Well, you got 5 out of 6.
Okay.
We'll see you at 8 Saturday.
And
Thank you very much.
accommodating my need for an early morning. Appreciate it.
No problem. You can thank her. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
I'm sure our new attorney wants to be there. I'm just kidding.
You have to, thank you, play with my girlfriend because we got to.
That's okay. I'll let that.
Mr. Chair,
We're gonna let that slide.
Bring him, we're gonna.
That's okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, before these guys leave, did you want to schedule a public hearing on this particular application, or do you want to wait?
Excuse me, gentlemen, please
Wait,
don't.
Hold on,
Hold on.
folks.
You want to?
Board, what do you think?
1 minute more, please.
I mean, I don't know. It's a closed campus. There's not a lot of impact. It's not changing.
I don't think we're gonna see anything drastic on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was not.
But at
so-
the same token, I don't want to deny residents the ability
Right.
to.
Oh, no, I want
I'm
to
not saying.
public hearing.
waive the-
I think-
I'm saying.
for the next
schedule-
meeting.
Oh,
I think
gotcha.
if we
So-
schedule it,
Schedule a
there
public.
was
Make a-
something that we can't foresee now, of course, we would continue.
We'll keep it open.
Yeah, yeah, let's.
Make a motion that we schedule a public hearing for
Second.
October 9th.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now you can go.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Next on our agenda is Lawton Adams application for site plan approval is a consideration of our draft resolution. Are you speaking on behalf of Lawton Adams? I mean, you don't have to. This is nothing new, or I don't think. No, we have the resolution in front of us. Dave, you want to
Yeah.
through anything?
So, Mr. Chairman, you have a draft resolution.
Right.
There were,
Seeing that, yep.
Yes.
Oh, you're, okay.
yep, it was reviewed by Tim Allen. He provided some comments. There are some minor modifications. We added an additional review memo from Town of Somers ARB, which was dated August 23rd, 2024. And essentially, ARB had no issues with the design of the building. I think they were quite pleased with it. And then on the conditions required prior to signing the site plan, we've just added language that the applicant still has to address some of the outstanding engineering comments. I don't think they're a whole lot from Steve Rollins' August 7th, 2020 review memo. Other than that, the resolution remains the same as it was distributed previously.
Any comments?
None.
No? Then I make a motion that we accept resolution 2024-10 with the changes that our town planner just provided us.
Second.
And just for the record, it's a grant of conditional site plan approval, groundwater protection overlay in district, special use permit for stormwater management and erosion and sediment control permit, and a steep slope permit. And it's for the Lawton Adams Materials Supplies and Recycling. The address is 260 Route 100. And it is resolution 2024-10. You second it? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Two.
And last on our agenda is a town board referral from Trailside Estates Environmental Review, expand environmental assessment form. Let Dave handle this.
Yep. So as you recall, the town board is the lead agency under seeker, that's the State Environmental Quality Review Act, or proposed rezoning of the properties known as Trailside Estates, and there are representatives here tonight who will go into that in a little bit more detail. The town board went through a process where they declared their intent to act as lead agency. And as you recall, Ken Carney and his group came before you and made a presentation, and there was no objection from your board, to the town board acting as lead agency. So now the applicant has prepared a series of technical reports to go along with the full environmental assessment form. And they have circulated that to all the other interested and involved agencies, New York State DOT, New York City DEP, New York State DEC, the Bureau of Fire Prevention, the Architectural Review Board, the Open Space Committee. And so what the town board is asking for are there any comments that any of these interested or involved agencies may have on the environmental impact of this proposed project. The town board is looking for comments by their October 3rd meeting, in which time they will begin to evaluate and make a determination of significance. And under seeker, a determination of significance, if the town board finds that there are significant adverse impacts as a result of the proposed action, then that may cause them to issue a positive declaration in the preparation of an environmental impact statement. And that's a very formal process under seeker. But what the town board is doing right now is they're collecting information, and if they find that there are impacts, but they're not significant adverse impacts, or those impacts can be mitigated, they may issue what's called a negative declaration, which essentially means that the impacts have been identified, they've been addressed, and that they conclude the environmental review process. So this application at some point will come back to your board for subdivision and site plan approval. But the kind of the first step in the process is that the town board needs to do their due diligence from an environmental review standpoint and make either this negative declaration or positive declaration as part of the process. So with that, maybe I'll ask Rich to kind of provide an overview, and then Mr. Chairman, if you have, and there's a lot of documentation here, and I think this is an opportunity while we have the applicant's representatives here to ask them some questions. But in the meantime, if something comes up, if you're going through it and you say, hey, you know what, I have a concern about X, Y, or Z, please you can email me your comments, and I will pass those along to not only the applicant, but also the town board, because any of these substantive that get raised, the applicant's going to have to respond to them before the town board makes a determination of significance.
Hard to see the board and point to the board standing there. Good evening, Rich Williams with Insight Engineering on behalf of Carney Realty and Development. Also with me is Steve Marino of Tim Miller Associates. Ken and Sean, first of all, wanted me to extend their apologies. They are currently on one of their projects, state New York, and were unable to be here tonight. So as Dave pointed out very well, we've been before the town board for a little bit of time now, working through seeker. We have provided a series of reports, which I will summarize for you in a few minutes. in hopes that we have proven that there are not any potentially significant adverse impacts or that we have mitigated those impacts through project change. And similar to other projects that have been done in the town of Somers, such as Hidden Meadow, hoping that the work that we've done leads to a negative declaration. What we've provided since we were last before you is a full set of engineered drawings to a seeker level. We understand there's still more work to do. We understand there's going to be more work to do with this board after seeker's complete, getting into detailed site plan review, as well as the subdivision review. But we've provided a full environmental assessment form part 1. We've provided a traffic study prepared by Tim Miller Associates, an ecological setting and consideration of focal species of concern assessment prepared by Tim Miller Associates, a fiscal analysis also prepared by Tim Miller Associates, narratives on stormwater and utilities, a stormwater pollution prevention plan, a wastewater engineering report, and a water engineering report. We've also submitted draft water and sewer petitions to the town board because as part of the text amendment and the mapping of the MFR BP overlay zone to the site, we also have to expand the existing water and sewer districts to encompass this property. The property itself, just to give the board a recap, is 56.8 acres. It is located at the end of Reynolds Drive, which I know many of the board members are familiar with, is the road that was constructed at the same time as Somers Realty Phase 3, which was the Avalon Bay development. As part of the Somers Realty plan, it was always envisioned that this piece of property would have an access constructed because it was originally a landlocked piece of property. That access was contemplated through the plan hamlet to come through this piece of the property, and it was constructed at the same time as Avalon. It currently exists to item 4. It was never paved, knowing that there would be future development here, and it didn't make sense to install the asphalt knowing that future construction would occur. This is envisioned to be a town road in the future and be dedicated. Just to make sure that everybody's got bearings, you can see the Somers Common Shopping Center here on the plan. You obviously have Avalon Bay, Muse at Baldwin Place Phase 1, Muse at Baldwin Place Phase 2, Route 6, running from the upper left-hand corner of the page to the lower right-hand corner. And you have the Trailside Estates at Somers piece, which is 56.8 acres. It is adjacent to the bike trail, which is our eastern border. Of the 56.8 acres, 20 acres, which lie adjacent to the bike trail, are going to be placed in conservation. And 7.5 acres on the northern end of our property are going to be subdivided. Again, that's why we're going to be coming to this board for a subdivision for the construction of a community center. We envision the community center to be just less than 6,000 square feet. It'll have a 300-person community room, 2 indoor pickleball courts, which will be 65 feet by 48 feet, a 23-foot by 12-foot conference room, elevator, lockers and bathrooms. It'll have a small utility space and additional storage and conference room on a second floor mezzanine level. Adjacent to the proposed community center will also be a 2-acre dog park. Trailside Estates at Somers is an 81-unit development. We've worked with the town board and other boards refining the layout over approximately the past year we've been before the town. Originally, we had a much more linear layout provided. In working with the town, we've come up with a concept that has a main through road, all units set in 2 or 3 unit clusters, and then a number of spur roads that come off the main road to create a more private-like setting for the individual townhomes, so that it almost feels as if you're on your own private street as opposed to being along a main thoroughfare. Each unit will have a garage. We have looked at, and just to talk a little bit about some of the other things that we've learned and are doing as part of this development, we've looked at parking and made sure that we are providing adequate parking. We have 70 visitor parking spaces. That was one of the things that came up when we were last before this board, is how we were handling parking for visitors. Every townhome will have a parking space in the driveway. They will also all have their own garage. So between that plus the 70 visitor spaces, we're far exceeding what the requires and far exceeded what we've done on other developments. As part of our stormwater pollution prevention plan, we've already done testing to validate the stormwater practices. We've prepared preliminary concepts for where those practices are going to be located, the types of practices they're going to be employed. They are scattered throughout the site. And we have also worked through the Bureau of Fire Prevention. There's been numerous memos and meetings with the Bureau of Fire Prevention. And as we committed to this board, we're willing to work with the town. I know there has always been thoughts about a through connection to the south. We've set up our site so that that can be accommodated. And as Ken has told this board and committed to the town, we are willing and committed to working with our neighbors if it's something the town wants to see happen for additional access. We created a looped access through the conservation easement, which can be used by the fire department. That was one of their requests, to be able to have a secondary means in and out, or a way to get residents in and out. And that was one of their last comments that we addressed. So with that being said, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
The conservation area toward the trail is accessible, as I understand it, through the development. So homeowners would be able to enter that conservation area. What about the public?
We are not formalizing any connections between the conservation area and the bike trail. It is something that we've talked to the town about relative to the community center and security concerns. I will tell you, there are existing footpaths.
Can you speak into the mic?
Sure. There are existing footpaths that have been created through the years, but we don't have any proposal to create a formal access between the bike trail and the conservation easement.
Okay. Thank you.
I forgot, I didn't quite catch, who's going to provide your water and sewage?
Water would be the Amwalk Heights, well, it's now the Consolidated Water District, and sewer would be Somers Sewer District 1, which is part of the Westchester County Sewer District that goes to Peekskill.
Oh, okay.
That conservation area between the development, the proposed development, and the rail trail. Do you know the dimensions of that? How far in is that off the trail?
Yes, give me 1 second. I'll tell you.
You might be able to see it better on the map that's below there.
Just,
Yeah. If you put the other one up, Rich, it might be easier to see.
I will do that right now.
Yeah.
Is about 400 feet.
400 feet. And it's wooded?
Yeah.
And there's no intent to disturb any of that area?
Beyond the emergency access trail, I'll jump to the mic. But beyond the emergency access trail, no. And again, we believe that's something our residents can use as a amenity, as well as also provide the secondary access requested by the Fire Prevention Bureau.
So you're not doing any dedicated connection to the trail, but you're also, you don't have any plans to fence that area?
No. No, we will have, for our development, there will be gates at either end of the emergency access trail, which will be available, the fire department will have Knox boxes and keys. But we also do want to create, if somebody were to come onto the conservation easement, we do want a physical barrier when you come out of the woodland and get to the development that says, this is a stopping point.
Right.
And what is the proposed road material intended to be?
We would do in item 4 gravel. We'd want to keep it very natural. It's hard to describe just, a worn, weathered road through the woods, but that's the effect we're going for. I'm not thinking we would just pour straight item 4. We'd look to try and create more natural access, but at the same point, as fire department, there are standards in the New York State Fire Code that I have to make sure we meet with being able to get a fire truck across it, weight requirements and other things.
So it would have to be plowed in the winter.
It would need to be maintained, yes.
So the previous applicant has something similar and said they were going to do reinforced turf. Was that the term?
Yes.
Is that something that could be done here, or is item 4 of better quality and more durable?
Reinforced turf, if we're thinking grass turf or like a grass ring, I would be concerned about getting it to grow, because again, we're not taking trees down and this is not going to be a well lit sunlight natural area. I would also, given the fact of its length and nature through the woods, I'd probably prefer an item 4 gravel just to make it a little bit more durable.
Got it. Thank you.
Rich, where would be the access to a possible development to your south, if I'm reading this right?
Yep.
What is it?
We have specifically left space between the two end units off the condo that could accommodate a future access.
Okay. Unfortunately, I can't see your light.
He's zooming in for you, Bruce.
Yeah, I know, I see that. So you're talking, yeah. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Rich, could you describe the grade from when you enter Trailside Estates up to the, is it all one? Are you going downhill? If you could describe.
The grade is actually undulating. It goes up and down.
Mhm.
So when you come in off of what is Reynolds Drive and you cross our property line, you're essentially running parallel with the grade. As we move, there's a high point in this portion of the property that we'll be cutting into to nestle our development into the hill as opposed to sitting on top of the hill. As you move from north to south, we're trying to follow the natural topography of the land, so it ends up dipping back down. And then ultimately you have a low point generally in the southern area of the site.
Sort of neutralizing that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have spent some time looking at the earthwork. Right now we have the earthwork pretty close to balance, only a 5,000 yard import.
Okay.
Rich, you don't see any problem with the item 4 for people buying units in this area instead of having a paved road?
The roadway itself for the residents will be paved. It'll be built to town spec. It's only the
Okay.
emergency access road through the wooded area that we would keep more natural.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
That would be a good comment. Yeah, I would see an issue.
Dave and Steve, this is the access road to potentially the other development that is having is that correct? And it would be an emergency access department?
I think, not to complicate this particular application, but the other application that you're referring to, Green Tree.
Yeah.
I believe what Rich is indicating is that they would provide an access way for, it could be either Green Tree itself, but certainly it could be an emergency access for Green Tree, either one.
Okay.
Yes, and I think, the board knows Ken and has worked with Ken since 2007 with Muse One. He has continually and routinely works with the town, and he's committed to here.
In fact, if I recall, it was he who proposed that to us in the initial presentation to this board, making mention of that connection, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, it was his idea or proposal as much as something that he was encouraged to do.
Well, it was broken to us by him, the news.
But I will tell you, I had worked on the property to the south back in 2009. And even then, when I came before this board, it was encouraged to talk to the neighbor to the north. So it's been a long history here.
So this is going back to the town board, obviously.
Yes.
And we'll see it again when it comes before us for site plan approval.
Correct.
Do we want to send them off with any concerns, questions, thought-provoking ideas? No?
Just good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. Who knows when?
Well, thank you. I'm excited. I think looking at the other developments in the Plan Hamlet, this offers a different type of housing style that'll complement the others. And I think it'll help encourage, Baldwin Place and some of the things we did with.
Would these be considered fee simple?
Yes, I believe we are doing these as fee simple.
And Dave, when the town board is done with the secret and the subdivision, then it comes to us for site plan?
Yes,
We'll come,
Yeah.
we'll come to you for subdivision and site plan.
and site.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
yes.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Wrap it up now, can't we? Nope.
I get. I don't know, my board.
Tony just showed me something. I'd been going back and forth over there in Bolden Place, and I reluctantly wouldn't sign the the application for, for behind.
Oh, back bumps.
Well, it's back now, being kind of an eyesore and a potential fire hazard.
Yeah, my suggestion is send me an email and I will coordinate with the,
I'll send you some pictures.
yeah, and I'll coordinate with the building department.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, our next meet October 9th, 2024. Make a motion that we adjourn till then. And we have a sidewalk Saturday, 8:00.
Be there.
Yep.
Or not.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much. Nice to meet you. We'll see you in October.
Very nice meeting.
Okay.
Good luck, council.
Yeah. You don't look any the worse for wear for meeting.
Yeah, well, give him time.
You guys are easy.
Huh?
All relative.
Yeah, exactly.
So does the notice for the sidewalk get posted on the town website? How does that?
I know Wendy handled it. Exactly where it gets concerned.
Okay, so it's taken care of.
Yes.
Okay,
No action needed on this part. I don't.
okay, cool. One of my
Yes.
boards. with
Village of Buchanan is one of my,
Steve,
Schedule sidewalks without.
Steve,
Yes.
how's your geothermal working?
Like a charm.
Good, good to hear.
We'll talk soon.
Just cast a note of the net that it covers all of those options in the future.
Yeah, I think that what you're talking about is so significant that the building inspector said, wait a minute, no, I'm sorry, that's not allowed in our code. So, yeah, and I think I think you're pretty much safe right now. And I think the town board is kind of a next step, will probably think about legislation for regulating those battery storage facilities in general, townwide. Well, almost all the northern Westchester communities are going through the same issue, particularly because of the facility that's just across.
On our border.
The Carmel plan?
Carmel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where that is?
Yeah, it's right